Hello and welcome to today's video. We're covering Worlds 2024, Swiss Stage Day 6 or 7, forget which, we'll know based on the title. But going over these two series, went 2-0 in predictions. I thought they'd both be clean 2-0s. FlyQuest were able to take a game, and in my opinion, it was in a very interesting fashion, outside of the fact that North America beat LCK 1 seed in a game in and of itself is interesting. And then preview the two series for tomorrow in Swiss Stage. So, first things first, D plus and Top. So Top win 2-0 despite giving Yone over. What a surprise. Sometimes you can beat a Yone. Cream on the Aurora in both games, dominant. As games went along, Top Esports would take control, especially in Game 1. Game 2 was a bit sloppy out of them. They did allow DK back into the game, and they did get a lead. But in the end, Top Esports did find a way. Some would say it was a miracle. I would not. Cream, 12, 5, and 18, 34% of damage. 369 on the Quesante, disgusting. 8, 1, and 17 in both games on the Quesante. And did Jax for Kingen. Did solo kill Kingen. And then he was a menace on the Quesante. I think he actually led them in damage in Game 1 on Quesante. Something or close to it, which in and of itself is a surprise because you don't think damage when you think Quesante. You think more of a weak side, even a facilitator with his ulti and things like that. But, 369 was quite strong. Tien plays Xin Zhao in Game 1, which is an interesting pick. We haven't seen Xin Zhao at this tournament. So something, we're seeing the meta now we're seeing teams have answers to things now. So they played Xin Zhao into Skarner. It worked. Maybe that's going to be a thing. Xin Zhao, I think, was buffed going into this event. We saw some changes for FlyQuest in the FlyQuest HLE series that may say, are those picks viable? Just something to think about. Aiming 10, 4, and 5, 38% of damage in the loss, playing Smolder Misfortune. Moham stunk a lot. He was terrible in this two-game set. I think he died 9 times in Game 1. I think that further cements that Moham should not be playing over Kellen, and anybody that thinks otherwise probably needs to, stop hating on Kellen and actually have something, that makes sense to say. Because, he kind of entered his face off. Don't get me wrong. Top Esports were the better team, especially in Game 1. Game 2, Moham was slightly better, but he did die in the 2v2 for first blood. I take that back. He did do that. He went in on Leona and got crushed by MF, and I believe Rel was Mako's champion in Game 2. Just a very silly mistake. Eamon can only do so much. Lucid, I think he did take an objective from Tien. I think he did steal an objective, but otherwise, it was his first opportunity in a big moment like this. We'll take what we can get out of Lucid at this tournament, and hopefully his career continues going forward to be strong. In terms of control, Top Esports were in control for about 78% of Game 1 and 62% of Game 2. Showing 70-30 split roughly in terms of gold plus objectives when you combine them minute by minute. That Game 2 was like that because D Plus did come back. They did come back. They found a way to make it a competitive match, and Top Esports still found a way. HLE FlyQuest. So over this 3-game set, despite it going 3 games, it was still more lopsided in terms of control than the first series, 75-25 in the HLE Fly series. So HLE would win games 1 and 3. Game 2, they would roughly split control. HLE ahead for about the first half of the game, and then FlyQuest taking control for the last 18 minutes. And thus, really, it was essentially 50-50, slightly in HLE's favor. But Game 1, HLE dominant, 94% of the control. Game 3, 81%. The reason why FlyQuest were able to find a way in Game 2, Nunu Jungle. Yes, you heard that right, Nunu Jungle, paired with the Olaf top, Way mid. I don't think we've seen a Way at this event. I don't think we've seen we haven't seen a Nunu in a very long time, and God, I don't even know the last time we saw a Nunu internationally, let alone in general, even in any pro tier 1 region. That was real, like not a joke pick that we may have seen. Viper was on another level in this one, though. There was a moment, I think, in game 3. It might have been even game 2. Even though FlyQuest won, there was a moment where they tried to dive on Viper, and he got a double kill, like 1v2, and it just reminded everybody, yeah, Viper's still the best AD carry in the world. He went 21, 6, and 12, 37% of damage. Kaisa, Ezreal, Zaya, 3 games. Peanut had the best KDA on HLE outside of Viper, 7, 10, 32. Sejuani, Zyra, and Skarner were his 3 picks. Bwipo actually led FlyQuest in damage. 12, 13, 10. Played Urgot in game 1 to pair with Cassiopeia in mid, Quads OTP. Quads continues to have what I think now is like a 40% win rate at best on his OTP. If your OTP is that bad, and we probably shouldn't be playing it, no one else is playing Cassiopeia, so maybe Cassiopeia is not the pick for anybody right now. That's rough. And then he played Sion in game 3, which, I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? The guy led his team in damage and played a Sion in one of the 3 games. So certainly interesting. He took the lane swap like a champ. HLE still took first turret. HLE were, I mean, even though it's 81-19 in game 3, in my opinion, it might as well have been as lopsided as game 1, which was 94-6. Just once they got ahead, they were up a couple thousand gold in the laning phase, and it was like, oh yeah, we're not throwing this one. We're not going to blow it like game 2. Fly were able to find a way in game 2 to come back after being down what was like 3,000 gold in the first 15 to 20 minutes. Which is what I'm saying, like, although Fly took a game, it really wasn't as close when you look over the 3 games and who was in charge of these games. Like HLE kind of blew game 2, and in part maybe they didn't know what their win conditions really were into a new composition. I mean, I always say that, you got to bring chaos to the game if you want to have a chance against these elite Eastern teams, if you're a Western team or a minor region team, because hands diff is a thing. So you need to kind of give them something to think about. And in draft, you can certainly do that as well. I'm pretty sure HLE did not think a Nunu was going to be played today. So even if they start drafting against the Nunu, even if you did in the first 3 picks, which I highly doubt they did. I mean, I didn't look at draft. I kind of just skipped draft and then watched the game. So, that's a part of this. I mean, theoretically. But at the same time, even those couple minutes to do the second round of bans, I mean, HLE, I'm sure, still thinking, what are we going to play into this Nunu with our composition that's probably relatively meta that now has to kind of change over? I will say this, too. Great weird draft in game 2 gave FlyQuest a chance. But game 1, giving Zeka Yone is a really silly thing to do. A very silly thing to do by FlyQuest. That was reckless. That was unacceptable in terms of draft. You do not give Zeka Yone. That's no good. And then in game 3, I think he played Silas, which is a Zeka pick. Good luck, Quad. Have fun with that. And, I mean, Viper and Delight are just... Masu Busio had some nice moments, especially Masu, but it isn't going to be enough. And I did say yesterday that the chance of FlyQuest winning this had to come from the top side. And Bwipo performed, inspired, I mean, given the circumstances. I mean, weird picks. Like, Vi was game 3, but Amumu and Nunu, the only guy playing those champs at this event. So we give him his credit. That's the sort of stuff you need to do. Fly taking a game is nice. I believe Fly may have taken a game at Worlds 2020. That team, I think, took a game off of DRX or Top Esports. I want to say they went 3-3 in that group, beat Unicorns of Love both times. And then, I don't know if they beat Knight's Top Esports squad or Chovy's DRX squad, but I want to say they might have. So, FlyQuest winning games that many wouldn't expect. Preview for tomorrow, G2 T1, MSI rematch. G2 would win. Oh, mistake. T1 won 3-0 in that one. Zeus led the team in damage, 13-9, 29, 29%. Broken Blade 6, 13-7, 17%. Caps needs to be the difference maker. Otherwise, G2 are playing better League of Legends than T1 right now, but Caps has to be the difference maker. BLG, PSG, they played at MSI as well. PSG would lose that one 3-2, but did make it extremely competitive, shocked a lot of people. 9 of the 10 starters are the same. The reason why I say that is because Wei has been playing in place of Shun for the last couple months, and Shun was the starter at the time. Rumor has it that Shun is now scrimming a bit with the team. Does that mean Shun's playing in this one? I don't know. You have a 3-game set. Loser goes home. Keep that in mind. Loser goes home. You really can't. That would be, I said, a reckless decision with FlyQuest. That would be reckless in your go or go home to be thinking you're going to play both junglers in that one. That's truly last minute resort sort of deal. It's not like they've been doing it throughout this whole tournament or the last couple months. It's kind of pretty much been once. I think they did it for like 2 series in LPL, and then they said, fuck this, Wei, you're starting, and hasn't looked back since. So for this change to happen, you got to imagine BLG are now at a point where they're feeling the pressure, probably because they are a tournament favorite. And, LPL 1 seed going down early is never, that wouldn't be the first time that's happened, right? Or the second time. Or maybe even, it might not be the third time either. It might not be. Elk, 22, 15, 29, 29% of damage in the win. Betty, 15, 14, 25, 31% of damage in loss. Keep this in mind as well. If PSG lose, it very well could be Maple's last hurrah, and we should give him his flowers. Tomorrow, I certainly will, regardless of result. Maple is a world-class player. He has been one of the best minor region players of all time. Levi is going to be playing on Saturday as well for Team Liquid, and we're going to give him his praise. Regardless of result, once more, because these guys do deserve that. These minor region players that we've seen time and time again and take for granted because maybe our major region teams smoke those minor region teams all the time. I think they do deserve your respect because they continue to come back to these international events and dominate domestically in a region that otherwise really doesn't, offer as much. So, we do deserve, they deserve it, simply put. So, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.